Greetings, my fellow brothers and sisters, my fellow adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Now, with Halloween coming and passing by, I wanted to take a piece of that pie, which is the Halloween, by reviewing a series which became dear to my heart. Netflix's Castlevania, one of the most beautifully animated American series since, well, Avatar. Both of it. Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. I really love them all, yeah. Probably we're going to make a review about those as well, but not now. Now, Castlevania, this series has 2 seasons, and they are so faithful to the original material that I would not have thought. I mean, sure, I love vampires. Who doesn't? Okay, well, nope, not those vampires. These vampires. These. I love them. If it had been so easy to make a cash grab series out of Castlevania, just like with the last Airbender movie, we don't like to talk about that, and people would have still watched it because it's about vampires and it's about Castlevania, guys. Who doesn't love Castlevania? Instead of a cash grab, we got a faithfully adapted, beautifully animated series with beautiful soundtrack and actually really likable characters. Like, actually realistic and lovable characters. Now, to those who don't know the main plot, because they haven't heard and or haven't played the games, the story goes like this. A woman named Lisa goes to the castle of Vlad Dracula Tepes without fear, and she wants to learn medical ways to help people, to become a doctor. And Dracula gets fascinated by Lisa, by her fearlessness, and by her will to study. Now, they get married, have a son, happy end. But this is how it should have ended. God damn it, guys. Why can't we have happy endings? What is wrong with happy endings? I love happy endings. Do you love happy endings, guys? I love them. But no. Sadly, to have a franchise, we can't have happy endings. God damn it. Instead, she gets accused of being a witch due to her methods by the Inquisition. Thanks a lot, guys. She gets burned at stake, and Dracula swears vengeance upon all humanity for his wife. So he starts slaughtering humans, and in the end, a young man with a family legacy, a Belmont, must embark upon a journey to storm Dracula's castle and, well, save the world. Now, as you may hear it, humanity is portrayed in a really dark way. Almost, I would say, grim dark. Sorry. But the medieval times were like this. It's just faithful not just to the games and its story, but also to the era in which the series takes place in. Now, the story is quite sad. And Dracula, who is usually portrayed as the evil, ooh, I'm going to kill everyone type of way, he's actually portrayed in a way that you can't blame the guy. I mean, who wouldn't do what he does? I mean, killing all the humans for the fault of a few is really not right, but still, who could blame him? He despised humanity anyway, and now they just put him through the point where he no longer able to feel anything good towards humans, and he just wants to destroy all of them. Sure, he will going to starve probably with all the vampires, but it doesn't matter to him as long as he can have his revenge. Now, let's talk about the animation. The animation is top-notch, and the characters felt real through the amazing voice acting and the animation, which is, well, really shows the expression of the characters. Like, there was this one time when one of the characters was like, what the fuck just happened? And the look on that character's face was priceless. It was just so realistic, and I was genuinely laughing up at that point because it was just so expressive. And the way how even the physics work in the anime is surprisingly very detailed. Like the movement of the capes, coats, and so on and so forth, and these smaller details. But small things add up, and it just genuinely makes it amazing. Now, the fighting in the series is spectacular as well, and there are times when you can feel it, how much weight goes into that attack, into that stab, and how much damage it really did to the characters. Also, the fights are really full of blood and are really naturalistic, so much so that I only saw these sort of bloody and violent scenes in old animes, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, at least in the uncensored version. But we aren't talking about that. Like, here are heads sliced in half. If someone is stabbed in the wrong way, it shows, and quite something that I wouldn't have expected. So it adds to the realism of the series. Yeah, the animation is top-notch, however, I would prefer to talk about the sounds, the soundtracks, and the voices too. Now, the voice actors are really put themselves to the characters, bringing them to life. Like, the sound effects are excellent too. You can hear almost physically how much damage happened to the character or to the environment, and yeah, that's that. However, the voices themselves as well is just genuinely amazing. Like, you can feel how, as if real people would be talking with each other. But we're going to talk about it at the character section. Now, the thing that crowns the series, as much as it does many series as well, but this one particularly, the soundtracks. Now, everything is amazing, but the soundtrack really has to fit as well. The soundtracks now, most of the times, they are just there for the ambience and align with what happens on the scene, and it aligns well. It makes you feel that something really bad or something hopeful happens, and it's genuinely good to listen to. But when the soundtracks truly shine are the certain moments which fill you with sadness, hope, joy, and sometimes even anger towards certain characters. There was this one scene when Trevor Belmont finds a family artifact, and that scene, as he opens the box which contains that artifact, that moment was truly marvelous. It just really felt that if something that can bring hope to the people, because that could be the weapon, the salvation to humanity. It was genuinely an amazing moment, but there are so many other moments as well like this. Now, long story short, I could rabble about how much I like the series, but I would probably go to the spoiler territory, so probably I shouldn't talk more about the story. However, I definitely want to talk about the characters. I grew fond of them. The main characters, surprisingly, even the villainous characters, are very likable. Like with Dracula. The main characters just make fun of each other, like a group of people would, in a realistic way. Like, if I would adventure with someone, I would probably jest with them, make fun with them, and generally just say what is in my mind. And that's what they do, even though they might have conflicts here and there, but it just makes them real, human. And now even the villainous characters, while they plot, they scheme, they have their own ambitions as well, and some of them are very loyal for a very understandable reason that you also get to see, and it's understandable why they are doing what they are doing. Of course, there are a few annoying characters, and also there is a comic relief vampire character, the Viking Godbrand, who is just really there for comic relief. His character, well, sometimes brings the plot forward, and sometimes he just doesn't. His character could have been just left in the dark and just wouldn't have been touched at all, and we could have still would not missed him. Now, his character is at times really understandable, really likable, but he's just a filler part of the series. The voice of the character really made him likable. In the end, I would say that even if he wouldn't have been there, we wouldn't have felt it, because there was another vampire, Carmilla, who already does a better job at moving the plot forward. I don't know what would have been done if he wouldn't have been there, but who knows. Now, for the 2 seasons, there have been basically 12 episodes, and while I could say that they could end the series here and now, because due to how well it have ended, we could just simply say that, and the adventure continues, and boom, the games continue, and that's that. But I just don't want it to end, because I grew fond of the characters, and I would miss them. And I would say there are plenty of ways how they could continue the story. A lot of ways. Without getting into spoiler, they don't need to just say that, oh, and the story continues. Go play the games. But in the end, I could say they could probably make those stories as well into something. It's just amazing. The series was amazing and it hooked me in, and I genuinely hope that they will continue it. Now, most people would just simply pack a score in the end, but I'm not most people. It's me, Dragonheart. So I, Dragonheart, gonna wrap this up with the pros and the cons. Now, the pros. Interesting, good story, which is faithful to the adaptation, and quite realistic as well. Realistic fantasy setting. Good voice acting, which kind of brings the characters to life. Astonishing and really mood-fitting and even changing sometimes soundtracks. Really, they can lift your spirit from one moment to the other, make you feel that, yes, this will be the way, this will be the salvation of the world. And sometimes it can even change your mood, just go on and just be like, okay, look, let's just end this. Let's end this in a final, glorious combat. Likeable characters, even from the heroes to the villains. Well-placed sound effects, which are, well, they really fit amazingly. And a really beautiful animation, which is really expressive and really shows that, yes, they really think the way they are. Now that we are done with the pros, let's go with the cons. Yeah. I so much liked it that I didn't find any. And if I really would force myself, well, I could probably bring in the comic relief Godbrand, but he was nice at some points. Or some of the most douchiest of douchebags, unlike I have ever seen any character in any animes or any series. And even one particular douchebag. That douchebag would deserve the biggest douchebag of the universe award.
Here he is, the biggest douche of the universe. In all the galaxies, there's no bigger douche than you. You've reached the top, the pinnacle of douchedom. Good going, douche, your dreams have come true.
But yeah, that was it. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow brothers and sisters, my fellow adventurers. And please do tell me if you want me to do more reviews like this in the close future. And comment if you have any ideas, maybe a series, that I should review. I already promised that I would make a top 10 list about my favorite MMORPGs, but first let's beat Winter Assault and we will see what happens after that. And bite that subscribe button if you like this video, and ring that bell so you may be notified about my future videos. This way you will know when comes my next video, and you might like that as well. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, my fellow brothers and sisters, my fellow adventurers. Thank you for believing in me, and fare you well.